Sometimes, when you guys send me things, I wonder who exactly are the people who are sending me, like the overwhelming majority of the content that I'm reacting to, at least, right? And a lot of the content that's popping up on my suggestions, at least, are almost all political by nature or things that are kind of going on in the United States by nature, at least, currently. That's basically the overall gist of the type of stuff that I'm almost exclusively getting. But now, if I go back roughly 3 to 4 months, I never got none of that. Right. Now, keep this in mind here. For the majority of the time this channel has existed, it's always basically been history, science, occasionally, originally music, right? And then some comedy. That's basically all this channel has been. Nothing too hard hitting or, kind of out of the realm of education, at least, right? But lately, it's all kind of the same type of thing. And I'm wondering sometimes, like, who exactly is sending me these things? Because I don't really know. I don't see faces at all, really. Not really, at least. Just like profile images. And a lot of, and this whole channel has been, since its basic inception, is completely subscriber ran. You guys run this channel. You guys tell me what to react to. I react to it, right? Now, don't get me wrong. We have hundreds of thousands of requests by this time now, 3 years, literally hundreds of thousands of requests, and every single request is on a secondary screen that's on my side here. It's a vertical screen that basically has all of your suggestions, right? And the thing about that is, yeah, like lately, everything has, for the most part, been what's happening right now. And sometimes I wonder, what exactly is this stuff? Okay. So it doesn't surprise me that there are things that are actually happening, in the United States of America, where the DOJ specifically is accusing a U.S. media company of sowing Russian disinformation. Doesn't surprise me that that's a thing. Trying to kind of, create a divide with the people. Yes, it could be. It's plausible. Absolutely plausible. Because again, if you guys have been on my channel for a long time, you understand that this is the truth. What I'm saying here, guys, go back 3-4 months on my channel. You'll realize, or maybe even 4 months, 4 or 5 months. I don't know, somewhere in that range, guys, right? You'll see that literally this channel exclusively did like science, history, comedy, like lighthearted things that you can basically learn and grow from, right? Onto kind of where it is right now, where it's just like, bro, what's happening here, right? Okay, I'm telling you, right? But either way, let's go and jump into this video immediately. Just a suggestion via Discord.
Russian disinformation, election meddling, we've heard it before, and this week we're learning that there could be a new slew of allegations involving Russians interfering with our election system. So what does that all mean? Let's talk about it. Brett Schaefer is from the Alliance for Secure Democracy. He's up late with me tonight here on the Final Five. Brett, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about what we learned this week, that it involves a Russian state-run television network, and there were a lot of other allegations that came out this week.
There were a couple big revelations, actually. So there were sort of two separate cases that came out this week. One was evidence that the Russians are running something called Doppelganger in the U.S., which is this creation of these websites that are meant to look exactly like websites that you would go to. So things like the Washington Post, but with a little bit of a typo in the domain name. So it looks like you're accessing Washington Post, but you're actually getting a piece of Russian disinformation planted there. The other one, the bigger one, in my opinion, was the revelation that RT was covertly funding a media outlet in Tennessee that had hired 6 of the most prominent podcasters, content creators in the sort of conservative ecosystem. And so it was unclear exactly what the Russians had in store for this media platform, but we know it had significant influence. I mean, these influencers, these podcasters have million-plus subscribers on YouTube and Twitter. So they had built a significant audience there that they could have manipulated if they wanted to.
Yeah, so there are a lot of names in there. Tim Pool.
And that's what scares me, right? Now, keep this in mind here, guys. Again, this channel has been completely subscriber ran. I do have people who work on the channel with me, like specifically the ones who choose videos at random through a randomizer, then give them to me to react to, right? I should probably have them view things and double check sources and things like that going forward, though, guys, because the last thing I have any interest in doing is spreading information that is not factual, guys, right? Because again, I normally just come. I come to the studio. Everything is basically already lined up for me. I just push the button, hit play, and we watch the videos, guys. That's basically how videos are selected completely and how things are done on this channel, at least. But I think going forward, we probably will need to, bring someone or have specifically the person who gives me the links, basically, have that person kind of view and research.
Benny Johnson. Now, we should point out that a lot of these guys have said they did not know. They were sort of unwitting participants in all of this. But regardless, the fact stands that this sort of tool has become very powerful when it comes to these attempts to interfere in our election system.
Right, and I actually believe that they're unwitting in this. I mean, the people running this platform, I think they definitely knew that there was Russian money there. But the people they hired, like Tim Pool, it seems like they did not know. So what they were looking to do was build this authentic American audience, which Russia needs now because RT America has ceased to exist.
Right.
RT can't exist on YouTube.
I was wondering where that went.
It's been downgraded on Google. So to reach Americans, they need to find other pathways. And the one pathway that they clearly try to construct was this media outlet Tenet, where they use these very prominent conservative podcasters, content creators, to attract a massive audience to this platform. And we did have one indication in the indictment that at one point after the terrorist attacks in Moscow, that there was directives coming from these RT employees to actually insert Russian disinformation that the US and Ukraine were behind those terrorist attacks. So I think that was the plan here. They built out this audience with authentic American content creators who have huge audiences, and then at an opportune time, they use that audience to inject pro-Russian narratives.
Yeah, and there were a lot of people who watched this announcement come down from the DOJ, and there have been many people who believe that this is the Biden administration somehow just persecuting people who are advancing their political views that are diametrically opposed to what the administration stands for. That's
also valid.
Overstating it a little bit, but there are certainly some major concerns at play here.
I think the important thing with this indictment is that it had nothing to do with the narratives. And the indictment laid out pretty clearly that there was money laundering here from Russian state media employees that was going directly to this company. And again, that these podcasters, these content creators, they were a victim in this. So regardless of their political opinions, they were unwitting agents of a Russian influence campaign. And so it really should be a bipartisan issue. There were Russians trying to manipulate our information space. Doesn't matter the content that was put out on that platform. The issue here is that you had this covert funding from Russian operatives who we know want to undermine U.S. interests.
And is this are we seeing any parallels to efforts in the past, or is this a little more sophisticated than what we've seen in previous efforts to meddle in elections?
No, they're absolutely parallels. So back in 2019, there was this revelation that Russian state media was also funding this company called Mavic Media. So Mavic actually targeted more of the sort of progressive left in the United States. Now, they had nowhere near the influence that this Tenet media platform did, but this was another operation where covertly Russia was funneling money into this media outlet in an attempt to reach a different part of the American electorate. So there is a history of them attempting to do this. Again, what's different here is just how prominent these figures are who are connected to this media outlet.
Okay, so as we move ahead here, the next step, I mean, who faces the charges here? I mean, is this a matter of trying to prosecute the entire entity, or are there figures that we should watch out for here?
So there are now at least a half dozen RT employees who have...
Bro, I have an email. Yeah, I knew it sounded familiar, guys. Tenet, from July 13th, 2024. That's roughly 3 months ago when my channel's content started changing. Guys, hold the phone. No, my boys. Yeah, we have to have a conversation.
Been sanctioned.
Let's go.
Obviously, none of those are likely to ever see the inside of a U.S. courtroom. I think the two individuals who were responsible for creating Tenet Media and who clearly did understand that there was Russian money being funneled into it, I think they could face charges. I'm not a lawyer, but it would seem to suggest that they are at least in violation of FAR, the Foreign Agent Registration Act. So I think they could be seeing some charges. But these content creators, it does not seem like they will face any charges, nor should they.
Brett Schaefer is from the Alliance for Secure Democracy. Brett, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Bro, excuse me? No. Like, listen, I get emails from sponsors every single day. All right. And if you guys have been following the channel, you realize that you never see sponsored videos on my channel. Right. I turn down every single sponsor that hits this channel. That's not what I want to do. Right. If I accept a sponsor, it's going to have to be something that I have tested, that is something that I would feel comfortable even promoting, or something that I use specifically, right? That could make a lot of sense. Now, in terms of my, guys, I've been a photographer for over 2 decades. I have many sponsors in that realm, specific, but not for YouTube purposes. So I do not do the whole sponsor thing. So I generally ignore every single sponsor. It just goes straight to trash, right? And so, yeah, I definitely can tell you right now, I don't research the people who contact me. I don't at all. But it seems like going forward, the biggest thing for me is probably going to have to be making sure we're double checking, triple checking the sources, specifically based off of the type of content that is being sent, right, at least. So if it is something political in nature or America in nature, I guess, right, we're gonna have to make sure that we. Wow, no, guys, this is frustrating to me. This is very frustrating. Very frustrating, guys. I hope that's not the case, guys. But like I said, going forward, we're gonna make sure we have my manager at least look at things a little bit more thoroughly, guys. But all right, guys, listen. You guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly, guys. Before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.